Welcome everybody. We're here in a freezing night of 2026, winter outside Downing Street, the offices of the Prime Minister of the UK. We're here congregating in solidarity with the call to hands off Venezuela, stop the war in Venezuela, to stop the aggression against that country and to release Nicolas Maduro. What we're seeing today is that what the United States has managed to do, in our opinion, is galvanize support. We can see that now for the amount of people, the diversity of people here, the numbers that are coming on the call, on the last minute call, people from everywhere. People who come from everywhere, we're going to be talking to some of them right now, asking why they're here. Why are you here? Why are you here?
Well, we just stumbled across this. We didn't know it was happening, but we decided to join. We're from Belfast in the north of Ireland with a history of occupation, colonisation. And I just think it's really important to speak out on issues like this. We've seen this with Iraq, we've seen this with Afghanistan, we've seen, where they go into countries, they strip them of their resources and leave the countries in a mess. And I just think that it's disgusting that it's still allowed to happen in this day and age, that war criminals are allowed to continue to commit war crimes. It's just shocking. It's shocking.
So I think after this interview it's going to be difficult to add something else. Maybe we can wrap up now. Yes, the young lady say they want us sometimes to believe things are complicated, right? Oh no, this is complex. It's about drugs. It's about this, the other. No, it is as simple, I think, as our young comrade told us. This is great. And I'm from South America myself, and it makes me very happy to see solidarity from everywhere. Thank you. Shokiarla. Hello. So, yeah, it's only about 6 p.m. So the rally has not yet started, and people keep coming from everywhere. Let's see what's going on here. We have Hands of Cuba banner. The Hands of Cuba banner, and there is a reason why people are including Cuba here, right? It's not just that Marco Rubio mentioned directly, threatened Cuba yesterday, that Cuba will be next, like Colombia and Nicaragua. It's not just that, but it's the long history of aggression against Cuba. For more than 60 years, they've been blockading Cuba. And one of the many reasons why they attack Venezuela, now many people here have told us, is because they want to strangle the Cuban revolution and overthrow it. So more people keep coming here now. Right, so Crispin could not come today. That's the reason I'm standing up for him. My name is Jonathan, and he had some last-minute inconveniences. He's dealing with that, and that's the reason I'm here standing up for Crispin Flintoff. We're going to just have a look, talk to some comrades here. Who else is over here? Get me Patrick. Okay. Let's have a look. So, who are everybody? Right. So, we just found some people who were coming from Ireland. They were passing by. Yes, they were passing by. They were tourists, and they immediately identify. They identify with Venezuela situation. Now, can see you, obviously an Irishman, it's quite obvious. Yeah. You cannot be denied. You're not hiding it. Why is it that the Irish people find it so instinctively? And why is it so easy for the Irish to identify for this struggle against colonialism?
Because they have a long history of 850 years suffering from British imperialism, who is the mother and father of all imperialism and of American imperialism. So basically Ireland have suffered at the hand of planter colonisation and have fought back against. And we've won in the end against that, really. But we stand in solidarity with the long history of that. Like Che Guevara's mother was Irish on the mother's side. And not only that, St. Patrick's Brigade in Mexico fought with the Mexican people against the American government. And Bolivar himself, his aide-de-camp, his top man was an Irish guy. And he had hundreds of Irishmen fighting for him as well in his liberation struggle. And Bernardo O'Higgins, of course, fought in Chile and set up the liberation struggle in Chile. So there's a huge Irish connection with the Caribbean as well.
Stop bombing!
Thank you very much.
Donald
All right, so
Trump,
the
hear
rally is
us
about to
say,
start.
free Maduro right away! Donald Trump, hear us say! Donald Trump, hear us say! Donald Trump, hear us say! And Keir Starmer, grow a spine! Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, grow a spine!
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, grow a spine!
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, grow a spine!
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, grow a spine!
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, grow a spine!
Occupation is a crime!
We know what we're fighting for, not another endless war! We know what we're fighting for!
Not another endless war!
We know what we're fighting for!
Not another endless war!
We know what we're fighting for!
Not another endless war!
We know what we're fighting for!
Not another endless war!
We know what we're fighting for!
Not another endless war!
No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela is not yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela is not yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela is not yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela is not yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela is not yours!
From Caracas to Palestine, occupation is a crime! From Caracas to Palestine!
Occupation is a crime!
From Caracas to Palestine!
Occupation is a crime!
From Caracas to Palestine!
Occupation is a crime!
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight in the call for this emergency rally organised by the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign, Stop the War and the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, supported by dozens of other organisations. Let's make some noise so they can hear us in Downing Street. We've called this demonstration as it is vital we send a clear signal to Donald Trump for the powers in Washington, but also our own government in Westminster, which has shamefully given this illegal military attack the green light. So we are here to say clearly and unequivocally that we condemn the military aggression against Venezuela ordered by Donald Trump. It is an outrageous, illegal and dangerous US regime change operation against a sovereign nation. It is a war of colonial conquest to steal Venezuela resources from its people and hand them over to US multinationals. We will not stand by and watch it happen. As the President of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, said today, only the people can build their own future, decide their road forward, exercise sovereignty over their natural resources and freely define their form of government. So we are absolutely clear. No black oil.
No black oil! No blood for 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 oil!
No.
No blood for oil! No blood for oil! What do we want? Trump out. When do we want it? What do we want? Trump out. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Trump's gone. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Trump dead. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Trump out. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Trump out. When do we want it? Now. Hands off Venezuela! 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 Hands off Venezuela!
All right, let's try that again. No blood for oil! No blood for oil! No blood for oil! No blood for oil!
No blood for oil!
So we demand an immediate end to this illegal US military action against Venezuela and the safe return of President Nicolas Maduro, and we oppose Trump's wider plans to turn Latin America back into a US colony. So we need to be building the broadest movement possible in solidarity and saying, hands off Latin America, hands off Latin America, hands off Latin America, hands off Latin America, hands off Latin America. So I'm going to introduce our speakers. We have many speakers here today and contributions will be around 2 minutes. I'm very pleased to introduce our very first speaker. It's the one and only Mr. Jeremy Corbyn MP.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you all for coming on this freezing cold night. But it's very important for us all to go on the streets and show our solidarity with the people of Venezuela and indeed all those countries in Latin America that are currently under threat from the US and its new strategy, its new strategic initiative. If any of you had a brief moment over Christmas, as I did, and read the whole of the US security statement from the end of November, it makes pretty grim reading. What it says is, the United States is the greatest country in the world and it has the right to take raw materials from any place it wishes, and it has the right to challenge any government anywhere in the Western Hemisphere that harbours what they euphemistically call foreign influences. That was it, and then only a matter of days later, they sent in the USS Gerald Ford, they sent in thousands of troops, they sent in lots of planes, and they started bombing fishing vessels off the coast of Venezuela and continuing that threat. And then we all saw what happened over the last couple of days, where they landed in Caracas, arrested the president, and have now taken him to a court case in New York. That is a violation of every single aspect of the UN General Assembly, the UN Charter, Security Council resolutions, the International Court of Justice, and every other aspect of international law. Donald Trump is not interested in international law, he's only interested in power, and as he said, he wants to make Venezuela available for US oil companies to exploit its massive oil reserves. What this is really about is a US grab of the natural resources of Latin America. So it's our job to stand in solidarity with the people of Latin America who are opposed to all this, who want to be able to conduct their own affairs. The people of Cuba, who are at the moment very frightened of what might happen there next. The people of Colombia that are also under threat. All the other countries in the world that are in danger because of this. And so the international condemnation needs to be loud, needs to be big, and needs to be strong. But it also needs to be loud and big and very strong within the United States itself. So let's send a message to those people that were on the march yesterday in New York, in Washington, San Francisco and other places. Well done. Keep on the streets, keep on demanding that Trump ends this threat to the people of Latin America, ends the attack and threat to so much of the world. I want to live like you in a world of peace. I want to live in a world where one country doesn't invade another to steal its resources. We do that by our political power. We do that by our voices. Let's not allow ourselves to be diminished and divided, but above all, empowered and strengthened by the solidarity of people around the world to protect them from this overwhelming power of the US military. Join with those that want peace around the world, in every country of the world, to stop this US aggression against the poorest people in the poorest countries of the world. Let's build that world of peace. You can't do it with weapons, you do it with people, you do it with power, and you do it above all with mobilisation. Thank you very much.
The people united will never be defeated. 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 Hands off! Venezuela! 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 Stop bombing! Venezuela! Stop bombing! Venezuela! Stop bombing! Venezuela! Donald Trump, hear us say, free Maduro right away! Donald Trump, hear us say! Free Maduro right away! Donald Trump, hear us say! Free Maduro right away! Donald Trump, hear us say! Free Maduro right away! We know what we're fighting for, not another endless war! We know what we're fighting for! Not another endless war! We know what we're fighting for! Not another endless war! We know what we're fighting for! Not another endless war! No more innocent blood for oil! US off Venezuelan soil! No more innocent blood for oil! US off Venezuelan soil! No more innocent blood for oil! US off Venezuelan soil! Our next speaker of today's demonstration is the General Secretary of the National Education Union. Please give a warm welcome to Daniel Kabede.
Our children have returned to school today following their Christmas break, and what does the US President Donald Trump send to our children as a message? That playground bullies rule the roost, that the strong and powerful can break rules with impunity, that theft is acceptable if you're strong enough to get away with it, that threats of violence are acceptable and violence itself can be excused, that covering up your motives with lies and deceit is okay. The US attack on Venezuela, the seizure of oil tankers, the bombardment of civilian areas in Caracas, the abduction of President Maduro and his wife is nothing to do with drug trafficking. It has nothing to do with restoring democracy in Venezuela. Instead, it is a naked attempt to seize control of Venezuela's oil and to assert US dominance over Latin America and the wider Western Hemisphere. Trump has made it clear that he intends not only to keep the oil tankers illegally seized by the armed forces of the USA, but the USA will run Venezuela, take control of its oil fields and keep the wealth that Venezuela generates. Let's be really clear. Trump and his administration are guilty of theft. They are guilty of kidnapping. They are guilty of piracy. The assault on a sovereign state, the abduction of Maduro is a war crime. His actions are in breach of international law and they send a dangerous precedent. No country is safe. Now recently he received the FIFA Peace Prize. What an absolute joke. What an absolute joke.
It devalues FIFA completely.
It absolutely does. Under his presidency, the USA has carried out military attacks against 7 countries in 2025. Against Syria, against Iraq, Iran, Nigeria, Yemen, Somalia, and of course, Venezuela. And it won't stop there. Trump has made it clear that he will strike again against Colombia, against Cuba, against Brazil, against Iran, against any country that fails to bow the knee to his administration. There have been condemnations from around the world for Trump's military assault, but not from the UK. Starmer has said that he is merely waiting to establish the facts. Where the rest of the world has established the fact that Trump is a rogue president of a lawless US administration and that this is gangster capitalism at its worst. We need to send a different message to our children, that a rules-based order matters, that states must uphold international law, that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law, that theft and violence is never acceptable, that war is not the way to resolve the disputes. So we need to build this movement, the movement against war and against Donald Trump. No to Trump, viva, viva Venezuela!
Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Our next speaker is Lindsay German from Stop the War. Please make some noise.
Thanks very much, and thanks everybody for being here tonight. This event by Donald Trump against Maduro and against the Venezuelan people was a criminal coup carried out by a gangster who can learn everything from the barbarians that have come before him. And when you look at what has happened in Venezuela, this is a complete breach of any international law. It reminds me when they humiliatingly parade Maduro through the streets of New York, when they blindfold him and they cuff him and send out photos of that. It reminds me nothing more than the Roman emperors who used to parade their prisoners on the streets and cheer when the gladiators were killing each other. Trump is a barbarian and he's a war criminal, and we should have nothing to do with him. And while he's acting in the interests of the American ruling class, let's not forget the history of the US has been intervention in Latin America time and time and time again. My generation remember the coup in Chile, backed by the United States, where tens of thousands were killed and tortured and driven into exile. That is the reality of American power. And when he says he wants the Monroe Doctrine to be reinvented again, what he's saying is, this is our backyard and we can do what the hell we want anywhere in Latin America. And we're here tonight to say, no, it is not your backyard. The people of Latin America have the right to independence. They have the right to solidarity. They have the right not to be oppressed by their northern neighbor. So when we hear of attacks on Cuba, on Mexico, on Colombia, we have to say no. And what a scandal it is that Keir Starmer is frightened to say anything at all about this. Keir Starmer is the man who wants to find out more facts. What facts do you need to find out when we've seen on television a man handcuffed and taken on the American aircraft carrier Iwo Jima? When we see that happening, what more facts do we need when he's in court in New York? He's in prison in New York. We know the facts and we know what Trump has done. And the truth is that Starmer and the EU leaders are appeasing Trump. They don't like him, but they're frightened of him, and they will do anything to keep him pacified. So American imperialism is rampant. And we've already had since then saying that Trump wants to take Greenland, saying he wants to take Iran, pretending that he's in solidarity with people protesting there. Nothing of the sort. This is naked imperialism of the sort that is absolutely blatant, and we have to oppose it. And where is it going to stop? If he can just break in, and by the way has killed 32 Cuban nationals in the attack on Maduro in Venezuela, if he can do that brazenly, what else will he do? What other countries will he attack? And the truth is, there is no international rules-based order. It is an absolute lie. And the only people who are standing up to Trump are the people around the world demonstrating, whether it's over Palestine and the genocide that Trump is supporting, whether it's over Venezuela, whatever the question is, whether it's over the rearmament here. We are the opposition. We cannot rely on the governments here. We cannot rely on them around the world. We have to rely on building a mass movement to stop Trump's war drive, to stop the armament here, to stop conscription in Europe, and to say the people of the world don't want war, they want peace. They don't want Trump intervening in their country. They want the right to determine their future for themselves. That's what we're fighting for. So please do everything you can to support what we're doing here with the different organisations. Please support Stop the War. We need to build an even bigger anti-war movement. We need a mass movement against the war. Nothing else will stop these people in their tracks. And we face a future, in my opinion, of socialism or barbarism. The barbarism really does not bear thinking about. So let's fight for a better world where everyone is equal and where Latin America and everywhere else in the world is free from American and every form of imperialism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindsay. Make some noise. Are we all still here? I'm going to introduce our next speaker right away. I'm so pleased to introduce the man who stands with international solidarity movements when it matters. The General Secretary of the RMT is Eddie Dempsey.
I'm here to pass on the solidarity of my union to the working class of Venezuela. The RMT is an organisation that fights for the rights of working class people here in Britain, but we're also internationalists and we're also socialists. So we send our solidarity to the Venezuelan people in light of the atrocious illegal attack by the United States of America. And it's worth saying that the entire premise of respect for independence and sovereignty is at stake. If the United States of America can just bomb and kidnap the leader of any country it chooses in order to steal their national wealth and steal their national resources, then what sort of message does that send to the rest of the world and the other great powers? That ignites violence right across the planet. And I've got to say, the response so far from our government has been shameful, has been pitiful. The United States of America threatens every leader of every Latin American country. If you don't like what we've done or you don't follow our rules, you're next. They've even threatened Greenland, and still the Prime Minister and political class in this country cannot muster the courage to even stand up for international law. It's shameful. So we're here to say to our government, you must call out America for its crimes. You must stand up for international law and the sovereign independence of nations, because it's them today, it could be us tomorrow. And right now we're acting like a vassal state, too frightened to speak up in the face of gross violations of international law. So my trade union will be campaigning for as long as it takes as part of the anti-war movement to fight for a peaceful world. Solidarity, everyone.
Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! tragedy, the injustice of occupation all too well. Please give a warm welcome to John Finucane MP representing Sinn Féin.
Thank you, and thank you to every single one of you who've come out tonight to make sure that your voice is heard. As we know, this US assault on Venezuela and the detention of President Maduro and his wife is a sinister development that must be condemned outright. The track record of the United States interference in Latin America and attempts to force regime change has been a catastrophic development for this region for many years. This latest intervention risks yet further death, suffering and destruction. And it comes at a time when the illegal embargo against Cuba has intensified and the American president is also threatening more unilateral military attacks in the Middle East and repeating threats against the sovereignty of Greenland. In the last 6 months alone, US warplanes have left the skies burning in Iran, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Nigeria and now Venezuela. Meanwhile, Israel continues to bleed Palestine. We cannot allow for the continuation of so-called forever wars. This isn't security, this isn't defence, it's domination and it's imperialism. As a party, we have been concerned for some time at reports of US military build-up in the Caribbean and the ratcheting up of hostile language from President Trump. Let's be clear, it is not for Western countries to force regime change or to try any foreign government out of office. Nothing can justify the attack that we have all witnessed. We note that the illegal removal of the Venezuelan president sits in stark contrast to the United States' defiance of the ICC arrest warrant for Israeli political leaders accused of genocidal crimes against the Palestinian people. This attack is quite clearly motivated by commodities. This is nakedly a power grab for control of Venezuelan oil, and no innocent blood should ever be spilt for the price of oil. This attack has serious and far-reaching repercussions for the primacy of the global rules-based order and the authority of the United Nations Charter. The Irish government must speak out on the highest level at the UN and the European Union, and international law must be defended and must be enforced. There is no alternative to respect for national sovereignty, the use of diplomacy and peaceful coexistence. World leaders must demand de-escalation and dialogue immediately. President Maduro must be released and we must avoid a full-blown conflict erupting in this region with all of the disastrous implications that this would have. We must collectively, with one voice, condemn this aggression. We must stand with the people of Venezuela. We must give voice to our solidarity. Hands off Venezuela.
Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hey Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Hey Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Hey Trump, you're a liar!
No war, no empire!
Hey Trump, you're a liar!
No war, no empire!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Now, we were meant to have a number of MPs speaking, but right now they are in Parliament standing up to Keir Starmer and saying stop being silent on Venezuela, stop cowering behind Donald Trump. So make some noise because we need them to hear us. I'm going to introduce our next speaker. It's Louise Richards from the Nicaragua Solidarity Campaign. Please make some noise.
Hi, I hope you can hear me, everybody. I'm representing Nicaragua Solidarity Campaign Action Group. Nicaragua is one of those countries, again, that has suffered decades and decades of US aggression in attempts by the United States to overturn the Nicaraguan revolution and to subvert democracy in that country. We absolutely feel for Venezuela and with the Venezuelan people as they're suffering now from US aggression. We wholeheartedly condemn this brutal war of aggression against Venezuela and the kidnapping of President Maduro. We stand in solidarity with Venezuela and the Venezuelan people and their fight to defend their national sovereignty and their revolution. Daniel Ortega, Nicaragua's co-president, has stated that US aggression against Venezuela is aggression against the whole of Latin America. The Nicaraguan government demands respect for Venezuela's sovereignty and demands the immediate release of President Maduro. In their statement, they say that peace has been deeply wounded. We reiterate the importance of preserving the region as a zone of peace and development, and the aspiration of our peoples to build a fairer, more equitable world based on solidarity. They support the Delcy Rodriguez call for truth, justice, and life. Trump has invoked the Monroe Doctrine once again, the desire to control the whole of Latin America. We will dominate the whole of the continent, he says, the whole of the hemisphere. We must stop them. We can't allow this to happen. No progressive country in Latin America is safe from Trump's complete madness. His statements about, we will not allow Venezuela to do this, that, or the other, and we will rule Venezuela. They are a sovereign country. He has no right to intervene in that country, has no right to say to that country who their government can be. For decades, US imperialism has sought to break the spirit of the people of Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba in order to overthrow their democratically elected governments by whatever means necessary, including violence. But the US has underestimated their power to resist. The people of those countries have stood firm and have continued to build a better life for their people. They would rather pay with their lives than bow down to a life of slavery under US domination. Thank you.
No more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups, no more wars.
Venezuela isn't yours.
No more coups, no more wars.
Venezuela isn't yours.
Stop bombing Venezuela.
Stop bombing Venezuela.
Stop bombing Venezuela.
Stop bombing Venezuela.
Okay, make some noise. We need them to hear us in this debate. Our next speaker is from the Cuba Solidarity Campaign. So make some noise for Kevin Courtney.
Thanks very much. And thank you for being here tonight. Donald Trump makes clear what US imperialism has previously tried to hide. He makes clear that it's an act of piracy to steal oil. He says that kidnapping isn't a bad word to use. He makes clear that these are acts of piracy and kidnapping, and Keir Starmer should react to them like acts of piracy and kidnapping. Keir Starmer should be condemning them, should be calling for votes at the UN, should be calling on people to act. You've probably seen that 32 Cubans died in the attack on Venezuela. There are about 3,000 Cubans currently serving in Venezuela, the vast majority of them as doctors. But these 32 brave Cubans were protecting Maduro from these attacks. They died, and we honour their bravery. We honour their sacrifice, as do the Cuban people. Cuba and Venezuela are sister countries. They support one another. Cuba relies on oil from Venezuela because the US blocks other countries trading with it. Cuba and Venezuela both face attacks, and I'm calling on you to rally to Venezuela and to rally to Cuba. But let's talk about our Prime Minister. Let's talk about Keir Starmer's commitment to international law and his cowardice. Let's be clear, if this is allowed to stand, it's not just Venezuela, it's Colombia, it's Cuba, it's Greenland. You don't fight bullies by giving way to them. Bullies love to see that sort of cowardice, and that's what our Prime Minister is demonstrating. But we have to be clear, there is potential to throw Trump back. Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, all speaking out. Pedro Sanchez with some words in Spain. Emily Thornberry speaking out. There is potential to undo Trump's attacks, to throw them back. Trump has a reputation for chickening out. If our Prime Minister were to make a stand, other European countries would make a stand. There is a chance to do this, and we have to do everything we can to put pressure on Keir Starmer. Hands off Venezuela, hands off Cuba, hands off the Middle East. Get Trump out of the White House. It's time for us to stand up. It's time for Keir Starmer to stand up. This naked imperialism has to be thrown back. This piracy, this kidnapping must not be allowed to stand. Fight back, solidarity with Venezuela.
What do we want? Trump out! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Trump out! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Trump out! When do we want it? Now!
Right now, they are having this debate in there at this very second. Let's make sure they hear us. Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime. Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Donald Trump, you're a liar! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Stop bombing Venezuela! 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 No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! Stop bombing Venezuela! 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 Okay, it's time for our next speaker from the Bolivian Solidarity Organization, with us across the world. It's Claudia Turberdeloff. Make some noise! Woo! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Hayaya brothers and sisters, my name is Claudia Turberdeloff, Boliviana, Latina, migrante, and proud elected member of Hackney Council. I used to our oil. We know that this is not about your supposedly democracy or intervention for democracy. You want our oil, you want our gas, you want our lithium, and we're not going to allow that to happen, because the same as we did in the coup in Bolivia, where we mobilized and in about 10 months, in a record time, we recovered democracy. We're going to do the same for Venezuela. We're going to go in the streets. We are mobilized. We are organized. We are not going to let you take our oil. We're not going to let you make you slaves again. We're never going to be again your colony. And this is the last message for Starmer. Starmer, you know the May elections are coming up in May. We are waiting for you in the electoral ballot. We are absolutely waiting for you to show you what we're doing. We're doing it in Hackney and we do it all over the country. But this is your chance to reverse your support for the North America and for Trump's crimes. This is your opportunity to show yourself as the international lawyer that you claim to be and absolutely defend international human rights. This is your chance to say no to the illegal invasion of Venezuela and the kidnapping of the democratically elected president of a sovereign country, Venezuela. Hayaya Venezuela, Hayaya Latinoamérica, we will never be your slaves, we will never be your colony. Hayaya! This is absolutely incredible. I've been told that there's about 2,000 people here, so just want to give yourself a really big round of applause for coming out tonight and showing up. Thank you so much for showing your solidarity. I'm here to show Green Party solidarity on this US attack on Venezuela, and the abduction of its leader is a crime in international law. Trump, a man who claims to be ending wars, is escalating one in pursuit of oil and imperial control. The playbook is certainly familiar and deadly to global peace and justice. This action must be condemned by the UK. Starmer and his ministers have struggled to call it out and condemn it because they wait for their lines from the US. We've seen Spain, the only country in Europe with some semblance of a spine, standing up to the US. We must not be the US lackey. We must not cover behind the special relationship, and we must condemn this violent action and any further action threatened in Mexico, Cuba, Greenland and Colombia. Time and time again we've seen the war on drugs used as an excuse for territorial violence, used as a cover to extract resources from indigenous communities. This is not and never has been about drugs. For 50 years, we've seen a failed war on drugs that has led to more death, more exploitation, more criminalization of marginalized folks, and a more toxic supply. And if Trump and others were serious about addressing the war on drugs, they'd listen to experts and health professionals and legalize and regulate all drugs globally. To regulate the use, trade and supply. We know that this is not about drugs, it's about the extraction of oil and imperialism, and we must condemn it or we are complicit.
I stand in solidarity with Venezuelans at this time, worrying about the uncertainty and retain their hope for liberation and protection. And I stand for any citizen in other countries waiting to see if they are next, while the UK does nothing but waits to monitor the situation. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the organisers. Full solidarity from the Green Party.
Okay, today has been organised by the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign and they need your support. So if you are not already a member, please tonight make sure you join the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign and be part of the fight back against our government's complicity. Now, we know that Latin Americans have been at the forefront of standing with Palestine against Israel in their crimes of genocide and apartheid. So our next speaker is here from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. It's the Deputy Director, Simon Foster.
Thank you to the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign for inviting me here to speak tonight. We come with solidarity from the Palestine movement because of our shared struggles against colonialism, imperialism, and for national sovereignty. Over the past 27 months, the Palestinian people have been facing their darkest hour. Death, destruction, displacement, starvation. All of the signs that clearly constitute, to all those willing to see, a genocide. In response to this genocide, millions have joined us on the streets of Britain, and many millions more have taken action across the world in the struggle for a free Palestine. Nowhere more so than our comrades in Venezuela, where tens of thousands have regularly taken to the streets in Caracas, and the government has supported the cases against Israel at the ICC and ICJ. Because internationalism has long been a feature of both the Palestinian and the Venezuelan struggles. Both nations know how it feels to be neighbour to an imperialist bully that has ambitions for your homeland. The late-night bombings, illegal invasions, cutting off of communication networks and kidnapping of political leaders that we saw over the weekend in Venezuela are all crimes that the Palestinian people know all too well. But both nations also know what it means to resist. Venezuelans and Palestinians are a proud and principled peoples, willing to stand up tall against their oppressors and go to any length to defend their homelands. In Palestine they call it samud, which means steadfastness, perseverance. After 77 years of occupation, apartheid and genocide, the Palestinian people have never given up their samud. In Venezuela, inspired by the heroic struggles in Cuba and Chile, they proclaim, venceremos, we will overcome. Despite decades of imperialist aggression, economic terrorism and now invasion, the Venezuelan people have never given up in their struggle to overcome. Samud and venceremos, different words, different continents, but the same struggle. Sadly, what connects Palestine and Venezuela most of all at this horrific time is that both countries are facing down imperialist claims on their land and a government in this country that, far from condemning these outrageous breaches of international law, instead continues to aid and abet them. It's unfortunately no surprise to us in the Palestine movement that the same Prime Minister who's continued to arm Israel's genocide in Gaza for the last 2 years will not condemn the bombing of a sovereign nation and the kidnapping of its president. By allowing international law to be breached so flagrantly by Israel for the last 2 years, Keir Starmer has opened the floodgates for more of these crimes to be inflicted on people from across the world who dare to challenge the aims of US empire. When the coward Keir Starmer finally found the words to comment on this outrageous attack, he said, "The UK has long supported a transition of power in Venezuela. We regard Maduro as an illegitimate president and we shed no tears about the end of his regime." So my question to you, to the thousands of you gathered here today and the many millions more of you supporting from home, I ask you this. Do you support a transition of power in this country away from a cowardly Prime Minister willing to rip up international law in order to advance his career? And will you shed a single tear on the day in the not so distant future when his disastrous regime comes to an end? No! So does Keir Starmer speak for you? No! then I urge you to continue campaigning, keep protesting, keep telling the war criminal hauled up in there what you really think about him. Support the Venezuelan people's struggle against the invaders. Support the struggle for a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Solidarity from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Now we know this struggle is an international one, so our next speaker has joined us from La France Insoumise. It's Lam from the main left French party.
Hello, how are we doing? My friends, we are gathered here because once again war is spreading, and once again we are told to stay silent. Today it is Venezuela. Tomorrow, who knows? A government overthrown, its people subdued, its country resources seized by force. The old empire returns, flying the same old flag of freedom to hide the same old lust for oil. The United States, under Trump, has invaded the sovereign nation of Venezuela, kidnapped its president and his wife, and called it a fight against narco-trafficking. What grotesque hypocrisy! We have seen this played before. Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. Each time the result is the same. Death, chaos, and the plunder of entire nations. Let's say it loud and clear so they understand. No, there is no such thing as good invasion. There is no such thing as a benevolent empire. An invasion is an invasion, always and everywhere. And yet, in Europe, our government remains silent, submissive, and their so-called foreign policies are written in Washington instead of in London, Paris, and Brussels. Shame on them! Shame! Their complicity, their cowardice, make them accomplices in the written of the law of the strongest. My friends, let us be clear about one thing. When the law of the jungle replaces international law, no one is safe. No one. Already in Ukraine, in Gaza, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the same logic is at work. One that justifies massacre in the name of security. How many more borders must burn before we say enough is enough? Let us remind ourselves this. There are 126 nations today with border conflicts, 55 of which are already at war. It means that if the world continues on this path, peace itself will become an exception, a mere moment between two invasions. This is why we must defend, tooth and nails, the ideas that stand between peace and barbarism. Those are the unconditional compliance with international law, the sovereignty of nations, the people's rights to decide for themselves, and the absolute non-alignment of our own countries in the face of US imperialism. This is why France Insoumise demands the immediate release of Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who are currently held hostages of an imperial power that pretends it can kidnap heads of states as if they were criminals. Furthermore, we demand that our governments here in Britain, but also in France and in Europe, have the courage to say it out loud. This aggression must stop. And let no one tell us that these are not our problems. Every time people are subjugated, it concerns all of humanity. No one is free until Venezuela is free. Every time a government falls under foreign boots, the international order itself cracks. Do not believe that peace will survive if we remain spectators. If you want peace, do not prepare for war. Prepare for peace. Stand up for law, for freedom, and for the dignity of all nations. Down with the empire, down with the war. Long live the people, long live peace, and long live the sovereignty of all nations. Thank you.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, we're going to tell him exactly what we think again, and this time let's make it even louder. Stop bombing Venezuela!
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 No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela isn't yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela isn't yours!
No more coups, no more wars!
Venezuela isn't yours!
Hands off!
Venezuela!
Hands off!
Venezuela!
Hands off!
Venezuela!
Hands off!
Venezuela!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Keir Starmer, where's your spine?
Occupation is a crime!
Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar!
No war, no empire!
Donald Trump, you're a liar!
No war, no empire!
Donald Trump, you're a liar!
No war, no empire!
Stop bombing Venezuela!
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 Please welcome Fiona Sim from the Black Liberation Alliance.
London, let us remember that whilst we are here in the biting cold, our hearts are ablaze and we are burning with anger because we are a people of conscience. We know it is our duty to come out onto these streets, just like we have done for Palestine, just like we have done for all acts of injustice. The Black Liberation Alliance are proud to have been in Caracas, Venezuela, just a few short weeks ago. And so we are horrified by the events of the weekend, horrified that the friends and comrades we have met out there have been attacked by Donald Trump. We are even more horrified that the mainstream media are calling these attacks targeted strikes and platforming far-right opposition members to celebrate the freeing of Venezuela. But London, we know these are lies. We know these are lies because we have witnessed the truth firsthand and in the flesh. We have spoken to the dozens of young Venezuelans who are proud and passionate about their country. We have spoken to the fishermen under attack by the airstrikes in the Caribbean Sea. And we have spoken to the survivors of torture in the prisons of El Salvador, where Trump has sent innocent Venezuelans. The working class Venezuelans, the LGBT Venezuelans, the Afro-Indigenous Venezuelans, they stand with their country. They stand with Maduro, and they stand against all American aggression. From the barrios and the comunas to the streets and the conference halls, all the Venezuelans we met are proud to call Maduro their president. And we must remember the imperialist playbooks used to destroy Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and Gaza. Remember the lies peddled by our own government and mainstream media like the BBC. And so, London, we know the truth will prevail because we know that the people united will never be defeated. And now for our friends in Venezuela, let's say it in Spanish to repeat after me. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 Thank you, London.
Make some noise! Our next speaker from
It's great to be here. And it's great to see you all here protesting with us about the most outrageous attack that the state of Venezuela, the nation of Venezuela, the people of Venezuela, and the government of Venezuela has just suffered at the hands of a gangster called Donald Trump. I think that's the reason why he's called Don. Let me tell you a short story. Imagine for a second there is a very strong power that draws the conclusion that a prime minister of a little island is so unpopular that has only 15% approval rate, and as a consequence of that decides to actually get rid of it. Organizes a blockade that lasts 3 months, throws some bombs around, and then sends special forces to extricate him and accuses him of cowardice. What I mean by this is this: if it could be done to Venezuela, it can be done to everybody in the world. And that's why we need to reject it. Let me tell you what I think Venezuelans are thinking now. Yankee, go home.
Yankee, go home.
Repeat with me. Yankee, go home.
Yankee, go home.
Again, Yankee, go home.
Yankee, go home.
Now, Mr. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, don't make my life difficult. You cannot have a prime minister that in the morning is upholding international law and in the afternoon is supporting the violation of it. That's exactly what Mr. Starmer has done. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has the moral, political, and constitutional responsibility to uphold international law. The United Kingdom is signatory to the United Nations Charter. So I'm demanding that Prime Minister Keir Starmer actually stands on the right side of the law on this one and unequivocally and totally clearly condemns what has been done to Venezuela. Venezuela is a very rich country, and it happens to be geographically in the wrong place.
No, Trump is in the wrong place.
Let me make my own rhetoric. I'll discuss with you the qualities of my rhetoric later on.
I'm not criticizing you.
Venezuela is in the wrong place geographically. As the Mexicans say, Venezuela is too far from God and too close to the United States. And on top of that, is guilty of having the largest reserves of oil in the world. That's really what it's all about. For the first time ever, the United States does not disguise their interventionism, brutality, colonialism, and imperialism with democracy, human rights, and everything else that they used to do. For the first time, they say, we just want the money. And that clarifies things quite dramatically. Venezuela not only has the largest reserves of oil in the world, Venezuela has possibly the fourth largest reserves of gas, natural gas in the world. And it has something like the fifth largest reserves of gold in the world. It takes between 40 to 45 days from the oil from the Middle East to get to the United States. From Venezuela, it takes only 4 days. So the strategists in Washington have drawn this conclusion.
Why do we have to complicate our lives with the mess we created in the Middle East? At some point, the oil supply can be interrupted, and the oil is right there, you know, in the Caribbean, and there is only a pesky government which actually is using the revenues to defend their people and to benefit their people. We should go and get it. That's really what is going on right now. And that's why we should condemn it. So we should say again, Yankees, take your fleet back home. You didn't get it right. Yankees, take your fleet back home.
Yankees, take your fleet back home.
A bit better. Right. We want in everything you do from now on, and this is a command. It's a sort of moral command. Whenever you talk to people, whenever you participate in a meeting, whenever you are to union branch issue statement, whatever, every time you talk to anybody, to radio, television, or to your friends, and talk about Venezuela, make sure that you make this point. We want the immediate and unconditional release of President Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. So, free President Maduro. You don't sing very well. Free President Maduro. So we have a job to do. First, to prevent further attacks by the United States on Venezuela and anybody in the Caribbean, particularly the defense of Cuba, which is extremely vulnerable now. That's number one. And number two, we have to make sure that we demand the immediate release of President Maduro, and we demand that Trump takes his fleet back home. So it is your responsibility. Free President Maduro is our responsibility. We have to do it. We have to do it. Imagine if they get away with it. No president will be safe in the Caribbean, in Latin America, and anywhere. So, Yankee, go home. Yankee, go home. You buggers, go home. Sorry, I got carried away. Thank you.
Make some noise for Francisco Dominguez. No more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups. No more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups. No more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups. No more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. Okay, we're now joined by an MP who has just been inside Westminster taking on the government, calling out their complicity, calling out their cowardice, and he's here to talk to you now. Please give a warm welcome to Richard Burgon MP.
Thank you for being here tonight. Anyone who cares about human rights, anyone who cares about international law, must condemn Donald Trump's military attack on Venezuela and the kidnapping of its president. This is a disgraceful US regime change operation against a sovereign nation that posed no danger to any other country. A clear violation of international law and a reckless act that makes the world more dangerous for us all. Yes, it's about Venezuela's oil, the largest proven oil reserves in the world. But it's not just about an oil grab, it's also a power grab aimed at ensuring total US control over the entire region through a new form of US gangster politics, where might is right, and where the United Nations Charter and the international rules established after the Second World War, however imperfect they were, are thrown in the bin. Cast aside as the United States can do whatever it wants and to whoever it wants. That's why they are parading Maduro around like a trophy. Today, the target is Venezuela, but Trump has all of Latin America in his crosshairs. He wants to turn the entire region back into United States colony. Trump's new national security strategy makes this crystal clear. And that same strategy shows Trump's plans for installing far-right governments across Europe too. Yet instead of standing up to Trump, European leaders have given him the green light over Venezuela. The Prime Minister's statement was shameful. The Prime Minister's statement was reckless. He abandoned international law to appease Donald Trump. We saw it with Gaza, and now we are seeing it again with Venezuela. So I say this directly to Keir Starmer and to governments across Europe: stand up to Trump. Oppose the gangster politics, because bullies do not stop unless they are challenged. And we say no war on Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Cuba. No war on Latin America. No more blood for oil. Hands off Latin America. And let's build the biggest possible, most inclusive movement in this country and around the world, in solidarity with the people of Venezuela, in solidarity with the people of Cuba, in solidarity with the people of Colombia. Solidarity and a mass movement will win the way and will expose the hypocrites and the supporters of war crimes. Solidarity.
Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! Donald Trump, you're a liar! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! 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 Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Hands off! Please welcome Luke Daniels from the Caribbean Labour Solidarity.
Thank you, thank you. Greetings all. I want to start by sending a message to the orange bully in the White House. We are in nobody's backyard. We are not in your backyard. My ancestors resisted and survived slavery of 300 years, 100 years of colonialism, and you're not taking us back to any kind of a done road doctrine. You can take it and stick it up you know where. No, we are nobody's backyard. And we want to remind you, you might terrorize some of our leaders, you might give them a call and make them an offer they cannot refuse, or you might assassinate some of them if you've got a habit of doing in the region, or you might bomb them, or you might kidnap them, but you will not defeat the people. We will resist. A people united, a people united, we have struggled in the Caribbean and we will continue to oppose imperialism. We've never forgiven you for Grenada, for your attacks on Cuba, and all that you do in the region for hundreds of years. And you're not taking us back to 200 years ago. Nowhere. We will be fighting you at every level with our people. I also want to send a message to Keir Starmer in this country, who has forgotten that he got his human rights breach, or brief as it were, that to respect international law. What is happening in the region is nothing but what the mafia is expected to do in the region. You call people up and make them offers that they can't refuse. What kind of a world are we into? Who's going to be defending us? And we need to remind Starmer to get some spine. At least he could think maybe of somebody I would normally recommend is the past Prime Minister, one of those, I won't call his name, who at least resisted appeasement. And we need to say, Starmer, you need to recognize you're dealing with a far right, a fascist, a racist, who is leading us into destruction in this world. And you need to stand up to him. Today is Venezuela. He's already got his eyes on Mexico, on Colombia, on Cuba, on Nicaragua. He even wants Greenland. He thinks about Canada. And Starmer might be coming for you next. So we need to stand up and say no to imperialism, no to American imperialism. Yankee, go home. Yankee, go home. Yankee, go home. A people united will never be defeated.
People united will never be defeated.
Our people united
Will never be defeated.
Our people.
United will never be defeated.
And we say hands off to Venezuela. We stand in solidarity with the Venezuelans, and we say bring back free not Nelson Mandela, but free Nicolas Maduro. And we've got to learn that chant. Free Nicolas Maduro. Free, free. Free, free. Free, free. Free, free. And we say immediately, Starmer, get your finger out and deal with Trump. Do not be afraid. The British people will stand with you. Down with Trump and Trumpism. Thank you.
Now, Keir Starmer is not only a coward cowering behind Trump, but he's also overseen some of the biggest attacks on the right to protest and human rights in this country. We know that the Filton 24 hunger strikers, a number of whom are still on strike and desperately unwell, Keir Starmer, meet their demands. Stop stamping over human rights and listen to them, and stop being complicit in Israel's genocide. So make some noise, send our solidarity to the hunger strikers. Our penultimate speaker now is Fraser Maguire from the TUC Young Workers Committee. Please welcome Fraser.
Viva, viva!
Venezuela!
Viva, viva!
Venezuela!
Viva, viva!
Venezuela!
I'm here to bring solidarity, yes, from TUC and workers, and I do agree there is more our unions need to do and get off their knees. I'm also in Unite Hospitality, one of the only elements of our trade union movement who has taken actual industrial action over the genocide in Gaza, setting a light for the rest of us to follow. We know that there are so many elements in the trade union movement who think that our work starts and ends at the negotiation table, what they call bread and butter issues. These positions must be defeated and swept away. They have no place. The trade union movement must become a central pin
in building a stronger anti-imperialist force here in the UK. We have seen that in Unite Hospitality, but we have so much work to do. When we go away from this demonstration, I don't just want people filled with hope and anger, but we must ask ourselves the practical questions, the conversations we are having, the work we are doing to build anti-imperialism in this country. We have seen over the past 2 years a great politicisation of more of the public, young people and students especially, over the genocide in Gaza, as more people are realising the truth of imperialism. But this must continue. The work we have to do, the task ahead of us, cannot be overstated. We are going to see the bloody handprints of US imperialism continued to be smeared across the global south until the United States military project is no more. Every single one of us must be dedicating our efforts to strengthening and building our movement here in the UK. We must redouble our efforts and fight until we win. We have heard no blood for oil, but there is also the threat that Venezuela poses. The threat from their opposition to US imperialism, their building of an alternative development model, their building of anti-fascism, the communes, advancing the Bolivarian revolution. We must demand the immediate and unconditional release of President Maduro and his wife. No blood for oil. Viva Venezuela. Yanks out.
Viva, viva! Venezuela! Viva, viva! Venezuela! Viva, viva! Venezuela! Before our last speaker, we need to make as much noise as possible. No more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. Louder, no more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No more coups, no more wars. Venezuela isn't yours. No blood for oil. 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 Louder. No blood for oil. No blood for oil. No blood for oil. Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime. Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime. Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime. Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime. Occupation is a crime. Occupation is a crime. Occupation is a crime. Make some noise. Our final speaker, speaking on behalf of the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, one of the co-organisers of today, please give a warm welcome to Sophie Bolt.
Thanks so much. Well done to over 2,000 of you who've joined us here tonight. Well done. Standing up for justice and peace. Standing up for the Venezuelan people. So I'm here from the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, sending strong solidarity greetings to all of you at this critical protest. We are absolutely horrified by the actions of the Trump administration and condemn them outright. Trump's military attacks on Venezuela and the kidnapping of Maduro are a total breach of international law. Venezuela has in no way threatened or carried out threats against the US. This is a totally unprovoked attack on a sovereign country. If anyone was in any doubt about Trump's real motivations for these attacks and the abduction of Maduro, this is absolutely nothing to do with drug trafficking. Trump has made it absolutely clear this is all about regime change so the US can get control of Venezuela's oil reserves, the largest in the world. And so, as Trump puts it, to be able to extract tremendous amounts of wealth. This is all about the Trump's colonialist project. And now Trump has threatened Venezuela with more military attacks unless the entire country submits to him. Shame! And we have this huge military build-up by the world's biggest military ever on Venezuela's coast, including nuclear-capable B-52 bombers. These are being used to threaten the Venezuelan people. So the entire population is being held to ransom. Now, Trump's colonialist plans don't just threaten Venezuela. They threaten Latin America and every country that has resources Trump wants. And now Greenland is being threatened. And this is all about the US using its overwhelming military might to try and maintain itself as the #1 superpower. But the US economy is weakening. And the world is sick and tired of US dominance that's all about war and exploitation. And the US is becoming more and more isolated because it is overseeing a world order that has brought us genocide, the climate crisis, and now the growing threat of nuclear war. We need a new world order, don't we? Based on peace, on justice, on global equality, and a real, actual, genuine respect for the sovereignty of every country. So we have to stand firm, and we say to Starmer, if you really want to support international law, you've got to stand up to Donald Trump. So we have to build this movement because we understand how high the stakes are. And it's so brilliant that so many of you come out here tonight. But we've got to keep going. We've got to build this movement for the kind of future and the kind of world we all so desperately
join the Venezuelan